happy we finally got to this because this is one of my favorite parts of what Google gives you, and it's the analytical portion of this. So all the information that Google gathers is now being shared with you. You're able to see what people are doing on your website, how they're finding you, what they're doing once they get to you, what pages they're landing on, what pages they're searching for, where problems may lie. This is all really, really valuable. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about Google Insights for search, which is another cool tool, and then Google Alerts, which I like to call the ego checker. So, why analytics and website optimization matter? This graph shows you the 1%, which is the average conversion rate for a website. 1%. So 1 out of 100 people that come to your website are going to complete the desired conversion. Whether that be picking up the phone, calling you, or filling out a form to email you, or buying a product, 1%. That's the average. Now that whole brown, as it looks for you guys, area is all the missed people, all the missed opportunities, all the people that are not converting the way that you want them to. Very, very important to get those people to convert, because that's lost money right there. You spent money to get them there, or you spent the time and energy to build up your website so they're finding you. You want to make sure that those people are converting. So Google Analytics lets you find out where your users are coming from, as I said, what keywords they're using to find you. Are you creating effective enough content, which will be determined by your bounce rate or time on page. Bounce rate is, does anybody here know what bounce rate is to win a t-shirt? Yes?
When a customer visits or someone visits your site and then leaves without looking at any other content.
Very good. Well, we have a YouTube or a Google t-shirt over there for you. So the answer was, when somebody comes to your website and leaves without going to any other page, that is considered a bounce. Now, for some people, depending on the website, a bounce might be okay because the person is finding exactly what they need and they're leaving. Most of the time, it's a bad thing, right? Somebody's coming, they're not finding what they want, so they're not continuing on to other parts of the site. Questions about it?
Is there a time frame on the bounce? Like if they cancel the page within 2 minutes?
So it's completely determined by what you're offering. If you're a news source and you have an article that takes 5 minutes to read and somebody's only spending a minute on the page, then you know that you're probably not doing something right. If you have a 30-second video and the average time on page is 45 seconds, you know that you're probably doing it right. So you really have to kind of look at your own website and figure out exactly what it is that you want people to do, how long it takes, and then whether or not it's good.
So
yes.
So what's the good sector?
So the bounce rate, Barry? Yes. Okay, so the good percentage bounce rate, again, it's very difficult to kind of say across the board. What I usually tell people is if you're at about a 40 to 50% bounce rate organically, that's okay, that's average. Now if you're running AdWords, you're going to see a little bit of a higher bounce rate, especially if you're selling a product that's highly competitive. Because chances are somebody's looking at your ad, clicking your ad, coming to your website, seeing a price, not so happy about the price, and then they'll leave it. So your bounce rate's going to be a little bit higher. So you have to take that into consideration. You might see a 75% bounce rate as average if you're running AdWords. Again, dependent on your industry and your product, your competitiveness, and whatever it may be. Okay? So here's a quick look at what the analytics dashboard will show you, and you can see the number of visitors based on a given time frame. You can see your page views, your average page views, which is very good if you're a news source, for example, and you want people to look at other pages on your website. The average time on site, also very useful. Your bounce rate. You can click on your map and actually see. Do I have that? No, we don't have that. You can actually see down to where the IP is located, IP address, which is your computer's identification number. So you'll actually be able to see within like a 1 or 2 town radius where your visitors are coming from. This becomes very, very useful. Question on the side.
It's not going to give you an actual ID.
No, it doesn't give you the IP address, but that's how it determines where the person is located. So for example, my IP address, because I look at my website all the time, obviously, I see a lot of traffic in Hempstead. And for whatever reason, Cablevision, right, is telling Google that my IP address is located in Hempstead. So you can't be 100% accurate on exactly where it is, but you can get pretty close. And you can know that you're in a 2-mile radius around wherever that IP address is. Yes, in the back?
How do you get this information? By engaging optimization?
So the way that you get this information is if you're running AdWords or you're just running a website. Let's say you're just running a website, you're not worried about AdWords. You install just a little piece of code onto every single page of your website, and then then this will start tracking exactly what people are doing on your website. If you are running AdWords, it's just a little bit of extra code, and again, you're able to see exactly what people are doing.
I should be able to do that myself.
You should be able to do it yourself as long as you are able to update your website. If not, you have a website guide, right? Just ask him about it, he'll be able to do it. And if you have any other questions, obviously, I'll be happy to assist you. Question on the side?
Yeah, if you have two Google AdWords accounts, should the analytics code be separate so it's not linked to the same AdWords, or is it?
Yes, you'll have different AdWords code installed on your website, okay? But again, if you have two different AdWords accounts, you don't want to have it all default pointing to one website, right? You want to have different AdWords accounts with different websites, and then your analytics obviously will be only for your website. Does that make sense? So you have one analytics account, one AdWords account, and one website. Okay?
So I just went and added Google Analytics, which is my Google account, which I never realized I didn't have. Do I need to do anything to my website?
Yes. Once you actually go through the process of setting up your account in analytics, okay, it should ask you for your domain name, right? And then it should give you a piece of code, all right, which you actually have to put on the, it used to be on the footer of every page, now they're telling you to put it on the header of every page. And again, your website guy, if it's not you, should know how to do that. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to tell you. All right, so just some of the quick other information that you can see the keywords that people are using to search and then find your website. You can see how many visitors are drawn from certain keywords, how many pages that keyword how many pages per visit that keyword is causing, the time on the site that keyword is causing. All this information, it gets really, really detailed and really, really drilled down. It's great information. When I'm bored and I have my laptop, I just play around with this because it's a great way to just see, here's what people are doing on your website. And if there's something that's really popular that you're not promoting enough, then maybe you should promote it more. And maybe you should build more pages out around it. If you're getting 95% of your traffic from one particular product, push more pages out, and then you should get more traffic. Very, very important thing to recognize there. And now if you have an e-commerce site, so you're actually selling something on your website, you can actually see e-commerce tracking, which will actually track revenue right down to the dollar amount. So if you have X number of dollars in sales, it'll show you that. You can actually say, all right, everybody from New York, all right, my total revenue from New York sales is this. My total revenue from somebody searching for XYZ product is this. Really, really great information.
Excuse me.
Yes.
How is that? That's just incorporated into your site, or
I'm sorry?
how does that? I don't understand what picks it up.
You set it up. You just enter a couple of pieces of code, and it tracks everything for you. It's done by cookies, and it's really, really cool stuff.
Even if you use PayPal?
If you use PayPal, it's a little bit more complicated and might not always work. It's kind of a case-by-case situation.
So that code is on every page.
Phil asks, does that code have to go on every page? Every single page. All right? Yes, in the back.
Just, do you know what percentage Google checkout takes as opposed to PayPal?
From what I've seen with the checkouts that I've done with you guys, I think on a $50 charge, it was like $1.17. But it depends on how much money you're doing and how many transactions and whatever.
Charge less if you have to add.
Do they charge less?
They do. They charge.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Thank you very much. Bring yourself a yo-yo. All right, so Google Insights for search. We're going to try to get through the next couple of slides pretty quickly here. These are just some other fun little products that you guys can use. Google Insights for search is a way of seeing insights into what people are searching for. Google's pretty smart with the way they name things. All right, so basically what you can do is you can actually see if a particular product that you offer is popular or not popular. And what this slide shows is for a car manufacturer or a car dealer, right? It's important to know what the consumer wants. And back in 2007, 2008, it was almost on a level between how important car safety and car fuel efficiency was. So people weren't that much more concerned about fuel efficiency. It was kind of on the same level as car safety. So you might have noticed that a lot of the ads that were out, whether they be offline, online, or got good fuel efficiency. Now, with the price of gas, car fuel efficiency has become much more important to users. And Google knows that based on what people are searching for. So as a car manufacturer or a car dealer, I'm going to make sure that my ads focus more on fuel efficiency. So you can figure out a way to do this in your own business depending on your industry. All right, very, very cool little thing, and that's google.com/insights/search. Okay? This is not necessary right now. All right, Google Alerts for the ego checker, as I like to call it. This is a great way to just, among other things, find out if people are talking about you online. All right, this is just a little alerts that Google offers. You can tell Google, I want to know if people are talking about X, Y, Z. All right, and then every time Google recognizes it, that particular term, they'll send you an email. And it can be once a month, or once a week, however, once a day, however often you choose. Obviously, if you put in t-shirts, right, you're going to get a ton of emails. So maybe you want to be a little more specific about it. So what I did was I put in my own name and my business's name. So now, every time Google recognizes a new mention of either Seth Meyerowitz or UBD, I get an email. So this is good because I can find out if people are talking about me, whether it be on Facebook, on Twitter, or on their own website talking about the seminars, right? I can find out about that and go and check it out. And if there's a negative review, obviously I try to take care of it. If it's a good review, maybe I'll steal it to put it on my website. You know, whatever I feel I need to do, but now at least I know what's going on. Very, very simple to set up. It shouldn't take you any more than a minute to set this up.